My parents might tell me they're telling me, like, okay.
My parents were divorced. I had great financially when I went through school.
My parents are too lovey-dovey to ever think about it. They're the ones like you see making out with the trans community, but they're those parents.
Oh, no, I was not making out. I was freezing to death.
No,
Okay,
it's
guys.
gross. Like they're
He's ready.
Okay, we're ready.
Attention in the house.
Yep.
All right. And the setting for this, I don't know if there's a real big deal on setting, but I thought I would be speaking to you as students and faculty and professors in the Student Center, talking to you about the United Cerebral Palsy Foundation. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm here to talk to you about the United Cerebral Palsy Foundation. It's an organization that's near and dear to my heart and near and dear to some friends that I know. But before we get started, I'm sure that all of you in this room at some point in your lives had an obstacle that frustrated you to no end that you had to overcome. And I'm sure eventually, with the help of family and friends, you were able to overcome this obstacle, or you would not be sitting here today in this class. And for starters, what are some normal obstacles that you guys think of that you've had to overcome? Don't be shy. Please speak up. Anybody?
I have asthma.
Asthma? There you go. There you go. Anybody else?
I don't, but I think there's a lot of kids out here that have like learning, difficulty learning disorders and stuff. So I think that portrays a lot for kids today.
You've had to work with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Right. Thank you. Those are definitely definitely obstacles that we need to overcome. And I'm sure, like I said, if we hadn't overcome them, we wouldn't be here in this class. But this is my friend Ashley Beamer. She's had to face a lot more than we've all had to face. She was born with a severe case of cerebral palsy, and it's a restrictive nervous system condition that affects fine motor skills and affects basic movement. And she's been confined to a wheelchair since she was a young child. She's had to have help with numerous things that we would take for granted, such as brushing her teeth, bathing herself, transferring into and out of her bed. She can't move around as well as she would like to. And while she has done well for herself in her life, she cannot live independently. I remember one thing that she told me. I remember it was a simple thing like the battery in her wheelchair dying. She couldn't move. She was stuck. She couldn't go anywhere. And she called me. She was crying. She goes, "I hate my life." And that broke my heart. And she cannot live independently without the help from her parents. And while they have helped her out, her goal is to live obviously on her own like everyone else does. And that's UCP's mission. United Cerebral Palsy strives to end this problem for her and millions of other people, children and adults with cerebral palsy and other disabilities such as autism, Down syndrome, and several other disabilities across the spectrum. And their mission is to end this by providing keys to independent living, as I call them, through their local affiliates or service providers. The nearest service provider, I think, is in Cleveland. I think it is. And these keys to living that they provide to their service providers is what's going to eventually help Ashley and millions of other people with CP and autism live on their own. And the services provided by UCP, they include but aren't limited to help with finding housing. I mean, that's the basic human need. We all need shelter to live, right? But they also need a house to live in that's accessible to their disability. They need to have something that works well with the disability, that they can function in daily life like the rest of us. There's also therapy, such as occupational therapy and physical therapy, to help them cope with a disability, to learn how to live with it. There's also assistive technology training, which is learning how to use computers, iPads, iPhones, all the general technology that we need in today's workplace and in today's society. There's also early intervention, which is for parents that wish for their kids to get a head start on life, help them adjust to society early. And there's also individual and family support. And to use an example from my life, a quick example, I remember I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, at least my parents told me, at the age of 2. When I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, they didn't know it was just a minor case and that I'd be fine. They were freaking out. They were panicking. They didn't know how to deal with it. They were bawling their eyes out, so to speak, is what my dad told me. They didn't know how to handle it, and they didn't know what to do. And individual and family support provided by UCP helps these families of these kids with disabilities learn how to live and function with their child having a disability. And there's also social and recreation activities, which I believe kind of ties into the last point. It allows them to connect with people with children with disabilities and to share their story and their experience so they can get through life and get through this tough experience with the help of others. And there's also community living if needed, and employment assistance as well. Once they have the training and the skills they need to put them to good use, right? So there's job coaches and job training on the site, you know, and certain things like that. And the catchphrase and slogan of UCP is life without limits. And the benefits for disabled people from UCP to live a life without limits is staggering. People with CP, autism, and other various disabilities, like I've been saying, only want to live a normal life like the rest of society. And if they're given these benefits that I mentioned in the last slide, or at least some of these benefits, they'll be able to live a life without limits and without barriers and glass ceilings. But this organization cannot make this a reality without you. They cannot make this a reality without you. Without your help, people like Ashley and countless others will be forced to deal with the difficult hand they're dealt with in life with no end in sight. I mean, they've been able to deal with this on their own with the help of their parents and things like that, but I guarantee you they don't want to live there. My friend Ashley has learned how to live in the wheelchair and live a life like that, but she doesn't want to be stuck there all her life. She wants to be on her own and doing her own thing. And so how can you help? Well, there are many ways you can aid UCP in its mission. And the first thing is by logging on to ucp.org. And I highly recommend taking a look at the website, everything in there. I mean, it's a history, it's what you can do, it's how you can donate, how you can help. I highly recommend taking a look and looking at the website and seeing all that it has to offer. But the best way you can help is by becoming a Circle of Promise donor. And for $3 a day, you can give to the main funding base of UCP. That's how they run the organization, through Circle of Promise donors. And for $3 a day, Circle of Promise helps to spread the awareness of UCP by expanding the network and expanding its funding and helping with research of disabilities such as CP, autism, and other disabilities. And also, that could probably spread through word of mouth as well, saying, hey, I donated to UCP today, why don't you? You know, you talk to your friends and things like that. And you can also give at your workplace by contacting your human resources representative. I'm sure they know what UCP is. Most organizations have to know these various research facilities, institutions, and charities. They have to know. And if you contact them, they will place your funding for you. And to conclude with, UCP is driven by you, the people that make life better for everyone. And with your support, UCP will continue to be the leading force in helping everyone across the disability spectrum live a life consistent with their dreams. Because as the catchphrase for this organization says, everyone should be free to live a life without limits. Thank you.